Welcome to the kbbreview podcast and the last of our very special Insights mini-series looking ahead to 2025. I'm Andy Davies and we've partnered up with some key kitchen and bathroom brands to get their take on 2024 as it draws to a close and their views on how the market might shape up in 2025. Where are the opportunities? Where is the growth? Where might be the pitfalls? And where is the focus for them? It's an invaluable peek into the 2025 plans, ambitions and goals of some of the sector's most dynamic brands. And today we're meeting Andrew Laidler, the UK and Ireland Sales and Marketing Director for EGGER. Now, EGGER is about as big a name as it's possible to get in this market, so hearing Andrew's views and thoughts on what 2025 might bring couldn't be more relevant. You can find out everything you need to know about EGGER at eggger.com. That's EGGER.com. And that link is in the episode description. And here, down the old school phone line, is Andrew Laidler. Hello, Andrew.
Hi, Andrew. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. This sounds like Eurovision when you phone in for the judges from the EGGER jury. Where in the world are you at the moment?
I'm actually at HQ UK, which is Hexham and Northumberland, on a pretty grey and miserly day, really, if I'm being honest with you.
I'm sure most people obviously know EGGER and are very familiar with EGGER, but can you just give us a 30-second overview of the company here in the UK? Give us an idea of the scale of it.
Well, the EGGER business was started in 1984 when the EGGER family were looking to build a site in the UK after building a successful import division out of Weybridge with David Gardner and Bob Livesey, who then came up to really kickstart the business from 1984. We've had close to $500 million invested in the business since 1984, and a couple of $100 million from 2007 when we really started to fully modernize and put a lot of new technology into the site. We've got a construction division supplying flooring materials into the housing and merchant distribution marketplace, dealing with a lot of the national and regional house builders. We've got a specification division dealing with architects and designers. And then we've got a furniture division, really, which deals with furniture manufacturers who fabricate and create wonderful products, whether it's kitchens, bedrooms, bathrooms, office furniture. And then we have a distribution division who basically help us to get our wide base of materials into the sector, but for the smaller and medium-sized independent fabrication market. So pretty active and very much based around construction, furniture and interior industries.
So I think in summary, EGGER are absolutely massive.
We're a sizable business. Northumberland's the largest producer and employer. We have interest in probably around about 10% of the UK's economy when you look at the different sectors that we engage with and have touch points with. So yeah, a decent barometer in terms of what's going on in the UK economy at the moment, for sure.
Well, absolutely. So let's delve into that a little bit. Let's start by getting your evaluation of how 2024 has been for you and the industry as a whole. What's your assessment of how it's gone?
Well, I think just if we can, click back a little bit before 2024 and look at the challenges that the industry has faced, really, from Brexit through the global pandemic, which was COVID, where, all plants really had to shut down, a really seismic kind of impact and influence on the marketplace. Then we saw the incredible pickup in the marketplace where everybody sat at home and thought about doing projects. And then we saw the pipeline of work bills, market increased by about 30%, and everything went strangely busy for a period after that, dramatic COVID impact. And then, of course, Ukraine and the impact around cost inflation, the energy crisis and high levels of inflation impacting and influencing consumer behavior. And I think a lot of that has resulted in a bit of a headache and a lot of challenges in 2024. We've seen house building fall to some really low level, and the house building market drives a lot of the furniture interior sectors. So the fact that we're not building as many houses in the construction sector is being really badly affected this year. Also, has then subsequently had a knock-on impact on, the furniture interior industries. There are pockets that are exceptionally busy and doing very well. So, the commercial work around build to rent and, hotel, student accommodation areas that are still exceptionally busy. But, the fundamentals of our industry rely on a positive and successful house building sector. That has really been impacted. You look at some of the numbers and 30% down on new build, marginally up on social affordable, but, we're not building those at the level that we should be and need to build at. And there's challenges, that is for sure. And we really do need, a lot of energy and influence to get that sector moving again, to get the whole economy moving, but also, more importantly, to get our industries and our customer base back up and running to full capacities once more. So lots of challenges across the sector, really. Very challenging time for everybody in it.
Well, yes, 2024 has been difficult. It's been, lots of challenges, as you put it. What's then your broad overview of 2025 then? Do you see those challenges continuing? Do you see them easing? What's your view of how the next 12 months might go?
We would see the challenges continuing, really. I think for the first few quarters, there's undoubtedly a government desire to look at house building. We fundamentally have a shortage of houses in the UK. So the background and the fundamentals are very positive to drive growth through housing activity, and we desperately need it. But there are challenges around, obviously, planning, legislation, land availability, material availability, but really importantly, labour availability as well, to build the number of homes that the government is talking about. That's a real big challenge. But if we can see stable inflation, if we can get interest rates starting to fall, we've recently had that quarter point reduction by the Bank of England. And if we can get the government being a little bit more projected positive about the economy, and I think projecting a more positive economic outlook, then we will see recovery and we see a more positive future ahead. But I think getting the house building market moving and getting consumers to feel a little bit more comfortable and confident about where they're sit and how they're feeling about themselves is very, very important. If we can improve that and get that confidence moving, if we can get the economic conditions right, there is no reason at all that we shouldn't see growth and development in 2025. It's not a question of if, it's more about when. But there's a lot of people out there still talking about a challenging year ahead. That is the case.
EGGER, as we've discussed, is a massive business, and we obviously go right to the other end of the scale to very small retail businesses. How important do you think stability is? I think it's going to be quite a boring year, but in the best possible way. The idea we've had these mild to wild swings of activity, just to be able to have a year where there's a little bit more predictability, a little bit more planning can go on. The stability is there. That means there's going to be no massive surprises. Do you foresee a little bit of that in 2025?
Well, a stable market helps people and companies especially to look at where they are and look at investments. And, if they're not seeing things go backwards, then obviously it creates more positivity and confidence in what they see ahead of them. So that for sure is important. And I think, with a changing government, with all of the kind of narratives that we've heard and seen around the black holes, etc., I think, fortunately, that's been a little bit destabilizing in terms of consumer confidence. Consumers have been spending money this year, but I think it's been on more experiential kind of investments, holidays, hospitality. And I think hopefully if we can see, as I said, inflation remain at a low level, interest rates starting to come down, the Bank of England starting to talk optimistically about the future of the UK, the government starting to get on the front foot with positive economic discussions and debate and decisions, then I see no reason why stability then shouldn't lead into growth. But as I say, it is going to come from what we do around housing and getting people moving again, getting people buying houses, because this does drive a lot of the output, the demand for raw materials and for the retailers who are out there trying to sell products, whether it's kitchens, bathrooms, and whether it's home offices, etc. So important that housing market is stimulated. Absolutely critical.
And what about your plans then for EGGER specifically? What are your strategic goals for 2025, if you want to tell us those? Where do you think the opportunities are for you? What have you got planned?
Well, we're always looking for opportunities. We've launched a big collection this year, which has been great. We've been able to take a lot of decorative and product innovation into the marketplace at a time when people are looking at how they can create positive differentiation with their products. So I think a lot of companies are still interested, and they have to be, to develop and innovate, to look at what they're putting in front of the customer. It's incredibly dangerous to stay still and do nothing and to almost retreat when the market starts to slow down. I think it's super important that companies of all sizes look to continue to invest and be progressive and engage and be out there in the marketplace, talking to customers and showcasing what is possible. There's a lot of discussion and talk around sustainability, we're very much at the heart of that. So we're out there talking to customers about all of the sustainability opportunities, value engineering opportunities to produce great product at affordable price points. And really just, I think it's about engaging with the market and supporting the market and working closely with the market to show that you're in it together and you're partnering and working closely and collaborating and discussing how you can work effectively and efficiently together to work through these more challenging periods. I think the other thing as well is, of course, the people. So the people in our business, it's super important that they remain motivated, engaged, and excited about what we're doing. You know, we do an awful lot around development. We've got a great apprenticeship program here. 15% of our employees come through that apprenticeship scheme. We've got a graduate scheme. We have our own EGGER events program, which is a kind of talent pathway for people in our business. So we are also about developing people. So across our business, we've got talent coming through who can make a difference, you know, in all fronts, whether it be production, logistics, wood buying, and what we do with our environmental work, or at the front end, you know, people who are out in the marketplace engaging with customers. You know, having good people doing the right things the right way is really important. And engaging with customers at all times is also important. And just being out there and talking about issues and what we can do to support. But really, product is king. And I think it's very, very important that people understand that and, you know, work hard to, you know, not just be comfortable with what we're sitting on, but develop and improve and enhance and create points of differential when consumers come in and talk to them. It's really important. It's a very competitive market.
It's almost like an unsung hero, if you know what I mean. Because you're right at the start of the supply chain, you set so many trends, you notice the trends before the people. And I think the technology that's leapt forward in terms of the work that you do, the ability to produce the finishes that you do, I think is really not talked about enough of how much influence that has across the entire trends of the market.
Well, I mean, firstly, the product is phenomenally sustainable. You know, if you look at our closed-loop cycle, we're using timber waste, tops and the bottoms of trees that can't be used for commercial sawmill purposes. We're using the actics and the sawdust that come from the byproduct of sawmill production. And we're using post-consumer wood waste. You know, we manufacture a product and give it a life. And then when it comes to the end of its life, we're repurposing that, we're recycling it in the process to, again, create more product. So we then use a lot of our own and customer waste. We have a biomass facility and we use that waste to generate heat and energy. So again, you know, you're self-sufficient from that perspective. So from an environmental perspective, we really are at the forefront at an industry sector, the wood panel sector. Then we build and develop ranges that we look at from a regional perspective and then work with the group to filter those into what we think are going to be commercially successful, put them into ranges and then launch them and work closely with all those customer sectors I talked about earlier to create that awareness and interest and get the product specified. So there's no doubt about it, Andrew. The innovation in design, print, structure technology, manufacturing process technology has now got to the state where there are products that you wouldn't be able to distinguish between a veneer or a stone finish, but the replications and reproductions are just incredible. So that also generates lots of market opportunities for us to explore and to grow the kind of market presence that we have.
Yeah, I think it's remarkable, and particularly at the scale you do it at as well. I mean, as we keep saying, you're doing all of that, but you're doing it in an enormous volume.
We continue to invest. We've invested up in Scotland this year with a new lamination line at Barony, our plant in Ayrshire. And again, you know, one of the lessons we learned through COVID is when supply became quite tight, you know, the need to continue to invest. And while at the moment the market is a little bit soft, we know it will recover. And when it does recover, we're going to be in a good, strong position to be able to pick up that demand when it starts to increase and flow again. So yeah, I mean, it is important. Yeah, we are a business of scale. A lot of material coming into the plant and a lot of loads leaving on a daily basis, heading into the market. And even today, I still sometimes scratch my head and think, you know, where does all this material go to? But as I said, you know, we are connected to a large part of the UK economy, and we've worked very hard over a number of years to broaden that beyond our early days supplying the traditional KBB sector.
Okay, well, look, it's nearly Christmas, so let's talk a little bit about New Year's resolutions. What is on your list? What is on EGGER's list? What's your to-do list for as soon as you get back to work in January?
We're very grateful for those who come in and keep the factory flowing during that period. I mean, personally, and I think all of my colleagues who are fortunate enough to have time off really enjoy it because, you know, we work very hard through the year and it's a period when the industry shuts down and the phones go off and you can sit back and relax. But then I start really looking forward to the year ahead because every year is different. And again, I think we just have to all come back, re-energize, roll up our sleeves and be really excited about the year ahead and the challenges that will undoubtedly come our way and the challenges that we face. Next year will be the start of what we see as market recovery after a tough couple of years. I do, and we all do, see a more positive commercial landscape into next year. And, we just look forward to dealing with that and, rolling the sleeves up and getting stuck in and look forward to a positive year.
Well, you know what? I think that's a pretty good resolution for anybody who runs a business, let alone one the size of yours. Right. So, look, we've answered all your questions, Andrew, and it is, I'll be honest, it's really interesting stuff, very insightful. But there's only one question people really want to know the answer to. There's only really one reason that people have tuned in. It's to find out the answer to this, the most important question of all. Andrew, when you were a kid, what was your best ever Christmas present?
That's an easy one. I don't really have to think too hard about it because it's been long in the memory. I always wanted a chopper bike. For those old enough as I am, they will remember the old chopper bike. Yeah, I used to ride around the neighborhood smiling away. I used to think of the bee's knees. It was the best thing on two wheels and, fabulous. Yeah, no question as that as the chopper bike.
You didn't give anyone a seater though, did you, Andrew? Because there was a very strict instructions, if you remember, not to give anyone a seater.
Sorry, I broke that very quickly. It was a big old seat and there was plenty of space for a doubler. Just a kid, it was the seat that was with the Harley Davidson kind of riding position.
Well, Andrew, thank you so much for your time. Obviously, with a company the size of EGGER, it's so interesting, so relevant, so insightful to see what your views are for the year coming ahead. So thank you again. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
You too, Andrew. All the best. And I hope 2025 is also good to the KBB magazine and, of course, all of your readers and the entire sector. We deserve a good run at it next year. I'm sure things will start picking up for everybody and good luck to everybody.